Wow, welcome to Choice Change in Action. It feels like it's been forever. I am your host, Simone Milasas, and I am here in Budapest, Hungary at the moment, leaving today for Istanbul, Turkey. So how does it get any better than this? So yeah, feels like forever since I've spoken to you. It sounds dramatic, doesn't it? Well, perhaps it is. So, and also, by the way, I would love any feedback that you have about this podcast. We quit the Choice Change Action Instagram. So follow me on my Instagram, SimoneMilasas.com. Slide into my DMs. Ask me if you want to talk about anything with the podcast. You can also email sm@accessconsciousness.com, and it goes to more people than just me. Why? Because I'm probably the worst one out of all of us at looking at emails. So people think that if they come directly to me, they're going to get what they desire. It doesn't work like that. That's why I have a whole bunch of people that I work with, which we have called ourselves the Magic Crew. And that's a whole other topic. Like, we used to be a coy conglomeration of idiots, etc., but now we're the Magic Crew. I have a lot of people I work with who are amazing and just keep things moving forward. So if you're interested in any certain topic, please let me know. So I'm deliberately using I feel like it's been ages, because how many times do you use your feelings to be dramatic? How many times do you use your feelings to be dramatic? Now, look at the energy of that. What does that actually create? Does it make you more present? Does it make you more aware? Does it open you up to more possibilities? Or does it start to shut everything down and you do the trauma and drama and the feelings and being dramatic and being the same as everybody else? So here's a concept, right? Access consciousness. I think it's in the first class that you do, like maybe a bars class. By the way, if you haven't done a bars class, you might want to get yourself to a bars class. Oh my goodness, bars are amazing. I am on tour at the moment in Europe, and I've been getting my bars run a lot. And shout out to Anna Maria. You're amazing. She's been coming and running my bars, and it's 32 different points on the head. And then just touch lightly, like things like, kindness, gratitude, peace, calm, money, control, aging, sexuality, bodies, like a whole lot of different bars. And what occurs is we tend to get caught up in our emotions and our feelings that we think are ours. So in Access, right at the beginning, we'll go, what if 99% of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions are not yours? Well, you know what? Pretty much 100% of them aren't yours. We pick up all of the feelings and emotions around us, and we think that they are ours. For starters, if you're thinking, you're stinking. What are you aware of? Okay. What are you aware of? What are you aware of? That's what I would like you to be asking yourself. What are you aware of? So just go down this with me. What if feelings are not real and they're designed to control something, and usually you? I mean, look at the last time someone said to you, we need to talk. I feel this, I feel that, I feel like you're not, paying me attention. I feel like you ignored me. I feel like you haven't. What is that designed to do? To create something greater? To change something? Or to control something or someone? So you make your feelings more important than your awareness. What if today was the day to stop? Now, it's going to take a little bit, okay? If this is a totally new concept for you, you'll be like, what? But I feel like I love my feelings. How many of you love your feelings? Everything at that is, and everywhere that you are totally and utterly addicted to your feelings, where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 100 shorts, boys, perverts, creations, bases, and beyonds. Remember, that's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement, and you can find out more about it at theclearingstatement.com. I almost forgot it. I felt like notice how you'll do that. Like, as soon as you go into your feelings, you go into judgment. Totally brand new concept. What if you didn't judge anymore? What if you didn't judge you? What if you didn't judge anyone else? What if you didn't judge your body? What if you didn't judge your financial reality? What if you didn't judge your relationships, your friendships, your business, everything that you're choosing? What if you stopped judging and stopped using your feelings and emotions to judge, and you started functioning from your awareness. Okay. Excuse me. So you make your feelings, well, how many of you, let's put this into a question. How many of you have made your feelings more important than what you can create? You make your feelings more important than what you can create. And you tend to like look at everybody around you to justify your feelings too. So whether it's your family, your friends, your relationships, etc., your colleagues, it's like, oh, how do you feel about this? So you maybe come up, say, let's look at business. If you come up with an idea, a creative idea, how many times do you look at somebody else in order to validate it rather than, hey, you know what if we gave this a go? What if we tried this? And how many times do you look for how it's not going to work because you feel like you don't want to fail? You have doubt. Doubt is a distractor implant, okay? What if you just said yes? What if you gave everything a shot? You know, there was a long time ago, I don't think they do it anymore, but Amazon had this theory. It was like the yes theory. So anyone in the company who had an idea could come forward and be like, hey, what about this? Now, they basically said yes. If there was a no, whoever was saying no had to write this whole, I don't know how many pages, a few pages of why they were saying no. Okay. So it was much easier to say yes than it was to say no. How many of you make it way easier to say no than it is to say yes? What if you flipped it? And I'm a control freak of magnitude, okay? I'm quite willing to admit that. And the other day I was talking to someone and we were sort of extrapolating about these different ideas on a certain project. And I noticed that as they were talking, previously I would have gone, oh, and I would have looked for the places where there would have been like a hiccup, where perhaps, it may not have worked as well. And instead, I just shut the fuck up and I listened because I know this person is incredibly creative. And I also know that this person, when they put their attention on something, they do create. If they're in, they're in. If they're not, they're not, which I actually really admire people who will have the courage, the fortitude to say, hey, don't have time, can't do this right now. But when they're in, they're in, okay? Notice how what I'm talking about has like the space of awareness and not judgment and not feelings. So here's the way feelings work too, is your body feels and you sense, sorry. Your body feels and you sense. So, if your body feels hot, your body might be tired, right? Etc. But you sense, you as an infinite being. So, if you walk into a room and there's an energy there that you're aware of, because we all are, it's quantum entanglements, right? Science talks about it. You walk into a room, you have no idea. Maybe you walk into a room, you have no idea who's there, what's going on, etc. But you will sense what is going on. You'll sense if there is like humor, if there is sadness, if there is anger, if there's frustration, if there is awkwardness. You will sense all of it. Okay, you sense it. What tends to occur is you go, oh, I feel awkward. I feel frustrated. I feel sad. I feel this. I feel happy, right? But you use that as a positive judgment. So you want to make that yours. So you tend to lock those feelings into your body rather than you as an infinite being. You're just aware. What's going on here? Okay. Like, ever notice, like, if you're driving or there's a lot of people around, airports are a good one, actually. You might have some stuff going on. It's like, oh, guys, you have to use the tool of who does this belong to? And can I just say, I've done this years ago and I was looking at maybe doing this again, is 3 days of who does this belong to? How does that work? All of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, every time something shows up, who does this belong to? Okay. Who does this belong to? When it lightens up, it's not yours. Because as I've been talking about, we will buy into all of the feelings that we are aware of and we will make them ours and we will lock them into our bodies. So right now, how many feelings how many feelings have you made so solid and real in your body that it's showing up as pain and suffering? And everything at that is times a gazillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 100, shorts, boys, perverts, creations, bases, and beyonds. And how many feelings have you used to justify the not knowing you are choosing. What does that mean? Because you would rather have your feelings and be the same as everybody else than actually function from your knowing. And every time you go to your feelings, you invalidate your knowing. So everything at that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 100, shorts, boys, perverts, creations, spaces, and beyonds. Do you guys get that you're way smarter than what you've decided you are? Well, most of you. Some of you are not. I'm kidding. Pretty much all of you. If you're listening to my podcast and you're even made it here, you're smarter than you think you are, okay? But you would rather judge you. You would rather invalidate you, the infinite being, so that you can be the same as everybody else. Well, let me ask you the question. What's the value of invalidating your knowing? What's the value of not acknowledging what you are aware of? And when you stop functioning from what you have decided are your feelings, you'll start to function from your awareness. What are you aware of? What are you aware of? What are you aware of? Okay, I want you to keep asking that question. So there was, we just also finished, well, we did certified facilitator training in Portugal, in Cascais, Portugal. And then I came to Budapest, Turkey. I'm going to Turkey, Budapest, Hungary, and just did choice for possibilities. Now I'm going to Istanbul, Turkey, and doing an advanced body class, right? So I started off at the castle in Italy. This amazing, beautiful castle, by the way, Castle Borgogni, that I'm part owner of. It's incredible. But during the CF in Portugal, there was a whole lot of amazing conversations with amazing people. And there was something that just clicked for me, right? And I want you to acknowledge this, that you don't need to work super hard at this. You don't need to peel the layers of the onions and work out, how many trauma and drama you've had or why you've done this, or, this feeling belongs to great Aunt Betty and that's because, or you were abused or anything like that, okay? Yeah, I'm actually saying that. Like, what if none of that was relevant and none of it mattered? Because it really doesn't. Whatever occurred in the past, what if that doesn't matter? What if it's about what are you choosing today? Okay. So there was these conversations that occurred, and the fifth day of class, I woke up and I was like, wow, this is profound for me. I'm not wrong. Now, my whole life, I've pretty much been trying to prove that I was right. Okay. I'm pretty sure that it started off with my mother really didn't like females at all. So my brother was always like the popular kid. I was always in trouble, like always in the wrong. Okay, anything I did, and like as a friend of mine used to say, if you want to know you've put on weight, go see Simone's mom. Like she would just judge me as soon as I walked into a room. Anything. Like there was never a, wow, your hair looks great, or nothing. Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But here's the thing: if you've been made wrong your whole life, what must you do? Oh, try and figure out how you might be right. Try and prove how you might be right. So I've spent a lot of my life trying to prove maybe I'm not as fucked up as I think I am, and maybe I'm actually right. You know what? That traps you just as much as wrongness. So in Portugal, I woke up and I was like, holy shit, I'm not wrong. Now, what's beyond that? Well, there's no feeling of wrongness, there's no feeling of rightness, but I'm aware. So what occurs with that? Well, you can pretty much instantaneously change a point of view, okay? You can change a point of view so quickly. And, this is a really simple example, but it was very funny because a friend of mine was talking about ice cream, right? And having ice cream. And I said, I don't really like ice cream, which, anyway, I was going to tell you a story about that. But anyway, I don't really like ice cream. And he said, don't you? And I said, no. Then I heard a couple of people talking about this ice cream shop in Cascais, right? Now, if I hold on to the point of view that I don't like ice cream, I don't do ice cream. I don't like ice cream. I feel like I don't like it. Da, 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 da. You lock that in. This is ice cream, right? But we do this with everything. You lock that in, okay? And I started to hear about some people talking about ice cream in this shop in Cascais. And some of them were like, oh my God, this is the best ice cream I've ever had, the best ice cream shop in the world, and people do that. But I kept hearing about it and I was like, I think I'm going to need to check out this ice cream shop. And then one day my body was just like, let's get ice cream. So I did. Oh my goodness. This ice cream was absolutely divine, right? It was so good. So I was like, maybe I do like ice cream. I just don't like shitty ice cream. And then I was here in Budapest and I was like, let's get ice cream. By the way, it's been a heat wave in Europe. It's been so full on, like the late 30s, early 40s. And it's funny because in Australia, we know how to handle that. But in Europe, they're like, it's hot. We don't know how to handle it. Like my Airbnb had like 6 radiators, in the apartment, but the air conditioning wasn't working that great. So it's like, it's interesting. Anyway, so I was like, let's get some ice cream. So someone brought me like a tub of ice cream, but I took one bite of it and I was like, no, I don't like that. My body's like, no, thank you. So I went, apparently I just don't like bad, cheap ice cream. I like homemade, beautiful, great ice cream. And what else is possible? Okay. So this is a story about ice cream, but can you guys put this into perspective of where you've gone, no, I don't do that. And you make it about your feelings. You make it about everything that you've locked in and you go, nope, that's not me. Right. And you have this, you use your feelings to avoid the intensity of being. And the intensity of being is that place where you are constantly in question. Okay, so I don't like ice cream here, but maybe I like ice cream there, etc. You go in question, okay, body, what would you like? And so you keep being in question rather than locking in those feelings, okay? Remember, feelings are not real and they're designed to control something. And most of the time, it's you, all right? So how many feelings are you using to control you? Apparently a lot. I always find that interesting when I'm doing a podcast on my own in a hotel room and I can tap into the energy of everywhere that you guys are. Everything that is times a godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and pod, all 100 shorts, boys, perverts, creations, bases, and beyonds. How many of you are not willing to be out of control? Because if you go, I feel this way, I feel about this, I feel about that. Notice how you start to create these limitations of what you won't choose, rather than having everything, absolutely everything possible to show up in your life and your living. Apparently that's hit a nerve. So how many of you are choosing a life based on your feelings than what you could be choosing, that where you'd be absolutely truly living, like living, living. Are you done with having a life? What if it's time to live? Yeah, that. So everything at that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and pod, all 100 shorts, boys, perverts, creations, bases, and beyonds. So how many of you have decided that intensity is bad? When I say the intensity of being, you're like, oh no, not the intensity of being. But how many of you have misidentified intensity of being as, oh, I remember that when my parents used to get really angry, or, my partner would scream. And intensity doesn't have to be that. Everywhere that you've misidentified that intensity of being is actually the intensity of feelings, where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and pod, all 100 shorts, boys, perverts, creations, bases, and beyonds. So if you are avoiding the intensity of being, you are avoiding that hedonistic, like amazing awareness of everything around you. Even when you're in the middle of a city and you notice the trees and you can hear them, or the whole of the earth like coming up below and through your body, and you're aware of everything around you. I mean, how many of you feel orgasms rather than the awareness of the orgasm throughout your entire body, and even your partner's orgasms, like being totally aware of their orgasm as well? Are you willing to have that intensity of being? Or do you prefer boring, same, normal, and predictable? Or would you like to have the adventure of living as an infinite being? What if you could choose more than anyone else? What do I mean by that? What if you could choose more than anyone around you? Yeah. What if you are so much greater than what you've been judging yourself as? And how many feelings are you using to avoid that potency, the magic, the miracles, the chaos, the out of control that you could be choosing with everything? So let's look at your business and your financial reality right now. Would you like, what feelings do you have around your business? And when I say business, you could be working with someone, whatever you're currently choosing to do that's bringing you money, right? Whatever that is. How many feelings do you have around that? Notice how there's some that's really obvious and there's some that's hidden. So everything at that is we destroy and uncreate it, right, non, good and bad, POC and POD, all 100 shorts, boys, proverbs, creations, bases, and beyonds. Okay, now, if you're not functioning from your feelings with your business, projects, work, etc., what are you aware of? What could you choose? What could you change? What could you create from your choices? From this like relaxation of more possibilities showing up. Now I want you to put your attention on money and finances. How do you feel about your current financial reality? Notice how it's a different energy too, though, from the business and your current financial reality. Now, here's a question. Are those points of view yours, or who does it belong to? How many people are stressed out about money right now? How many people are freaking out about it and think that they don't know where the next dollar is coming from? Is that true? If you are functioning from your awareness, you will literally open up to possibilities of, okay, universe, show me some more revenue streams. What else is possible financially? What would I have to do and be today that would allow more money to show up than I know how to handle? And everything at that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 100 shorts, boys, provids, creations, bases, and beyonds. Okay, now here's an interesting one. Now I want you to put your attention on somebody who you're really close to, okay? Someone who you've decided is really important to you, okay? You feel like they're important, okay? Put your attention on them. How do you feel about them? Is there a need of them? What if you never needed anybody? No one was a necessity, but every single person you choose to have in your life is literally that. It's a choice. How many people are you in a quote unquote relationship with? It could be colleagues, friendship, lover, like everything, family. How many people are you in a relationship with because you feel like you need to choose that? You need it or they need it, and you would be less than if you didn't, or you feel obliged. Guess what? You're not obliged to anybody. What if it was you and your body that you were committed to? Wow. How many of you are disregarding your body, but you're making everybody else, you feel like everybody else has more importance than you and your body? Will you please destroy and uncreate everything that is, times a godzillion, all right, non, good and bad, POC and POD, all 100 shorts, boys, proverbs, creations, bases, and beyonds? What if everyone in your life, like I said before, you chose them, you enjoyed them, they were in your life because you literally enjoyed them? How many of you are using feelings instead of the intensity of joy? Yeah. Will you now ask for that intensity of joy, the intensity of being, the power, the potency, the magic, the miracles, and the totally out of control with everything? Now, when I say out of control, so many of you go, oh, that means like standing on a tabletop screaming and, ripping my clothes off. No, you could. It's a choice. Out of control is the willingness to receive everything. You have this spherical awareness and this spherical receiving. So you're not just receiving from what you've decided is the right place, okay? This is the right person to receive from. This is appropriate. This is, how many of you are moralistic? Here's something. What if you were actually amoral? Amoral is not having a point of view. Amoral is being in total allowance of everything and everyone around you. Again, you'll use your feelings to choose from what you've decided is the right choice and your morals. What if morals is one of the things that, you found out was a lie? and it was used to control you. Oh, yeah, guess what? Remember, I was saying you'll use feelings to control you or something else. So, would you be willing to give up your feelings? Your body feels, you sense. So just even practice that. Like next time you go, I feel like, go, oh, hang on, what am I aware of? Oh, I sense this. Okay, now what can I choose? Okay, so ask, what am I aware of? What am I aware of in regards to this? What am I aware of in regards to my business, to my friendships? What am I aware of in regards to my financial reality? What am I aware of in regards to traveling? Like, notice how sometimes you're like, oh, gotta go, and you're like, no, we've got to go. And you'll get like a bit frantic about it. But you're already aware there's a massive traffic jam or something like that. And then instead of using your awareness, you go to, oh, no, it's okay. We'll just leave at this time. But you knew you should have left earlier. You know, you know, you know, you know. Remember, I spoke about that you'll use your feelings to invalidate. I think my watch is asking me to stand up. It's invalidating me. No, you'll use your feelings to invalidate your knowing. Okay, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. If you stuck it out, I'm so grateful for you. Oh, and I want to mention one thing. If you can see me, it's on YouTube. Please go to YouTube. That's my hotel room in the background. I'm still packing, but I have one of my T-shirts on. WhatevermakesYouHappy.com, and it's the U is the letter U, not YOU. Okay, go check it out. I'm not sure if we have launched by this stage, but you can register your interest, and I've got a whole lot of really cool, epic merchandise coming out. You can also follow us on Instagram on whatever makes you. Oh, I don't know. It's going to be in the show notes. I can't remember what the Instagram is, but I'm going to show you one of my T-shirts, and it says, "What can I be today?" And then on the back, it's got this whole quote on being an allowance, which is really, really cool, by Gary Douglas. So thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time. And I'm off to Istanbul today. What are you up to? Whatever you're choosing, have the best day ever yet so far. Always ask for more. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, please. It really helps us get out there. And just thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.